I open up my web browser and the first article I see on MSN is Paul George doesn't hold back on Duke's Cooper flag about the NBA draft. Yo, Paul George, why don't you shut the fuck up forever and win something, nigga? God damn, ban that nigga's mic, bro. I never seen a player. I always felt like indifferent about him, but I never seen a player just like ruin his own reputation. Shut up. Just play ball. Retire. If you be a full-time podcaster. Did you see my Discord message? No, I have not been on Discord at all.
I appreciate the super chat, twin. I guess dropping a super bag on a super nigga like me would be super appropriate for a time like this.
I'll check it later. What up, TBH? Yo, shout out to Arno with the super chat. Night Rain is nice, but I glitched on the map during the final boss and don't know if I want to deal with it again. I feel that. That's fucking annoying. Like getting to the final boss and that shit glitched. I like it, but it is what it is. Like, it definitely has problems. Not sure anyone's watched this, but here's Neil Druckmann giving more details on the new Naughty Dog game. I think I played that already. Let me bring out this joint. Do you use Notion? Because I don't have an idea I want to share with you on there. Nah, I tried Notion. I didn't really like it.
I'm going to Snapchat Sonic my intrusive thoughts.
I didn't really like it. I just write all my thoughts down in Google Docs. I thought about giving it another try, but like it felt like it was too complicated for what I wanted. Like I like to keep my shit real simple. I get why people like Notion, but I like my shit real simple. We got an update on our fallen brother, which is funny because we had an update for the update on the last stream. If you missed 2 streams ago, EA's game, their studio Cliffhanger Games under EA, their Black Panther game was canceled. And then the very next day, we got an article explaining why it was canceled. If you missed that stream, basically they said, EA's CEO said they wanted to focus on games that make them money. And they don't know if this game was going to make them money. That was the gist of it. So basically expect more Apex, more Madden, more FIFA, more live service. And now I have another article that just hit my social media For You page today with some more details about the game, unfortunately. According to Eurogamer, yeah, more NHL. They're going to microtransaction the fuck out of it.
Why do people
it's funny,
subscribe to the idea of Shadow having a BBC? Only Sonic wields that type
shout
of
out
power.
to Obi-Wan. It's funny because when the microtransactions for the alpha of Skate first came out, I said that was a red flag. Because I'm like, the game's not even out and they're putting microtransactions out and niggas is dick munching because they want to play Skate so bad. And then that article came out the other day, how they want to focus on games that make them money. And they specifically said they want to focus on Apex, Madden, college football, and Skate was one of the games that the CEO listed. And that's because they know those games are going to make them money. Translation, they want to focus on microtransactions. They don't want to give us enriched, story-driven games with unique gameplay, amazing voice acting, storytelling, choices. They don't want to do nothing innovative. They want to milk you dry. And because you niggas ain't getting no bitches, you gonna let them milk you. Let me see. We got a new article. EA's canceled Black Panther game would have featured an evolved take on Shadow of Mordor's Nemesis system. Say it ain't so. Today, towards the end of the last month, EA's canceled its single-player Black Panther game and closed the development behind it, Cliffhanger Studios. At this time, an email seen by the media says this decision would enable the publisher to sharpen our focus and put our creative energy behind the most significant growth opportunities. Literally what I just said to you. I did not read this article before, but they're summarizing the articles before. This is what the CEO said. We want to focus our creative energy on significant growth. Translation, microtransactions. So once again, funny thing about this is we're talking about Black Panther, and in that previous article, they were talking about Skate. That's a red flag for Skate. I mean, we knew that there was going to be microtransactions, but they're blatantly telling us that is going to be our focus, milking that fucking game. Yellow flag. I wouldn't get my hopes up for that too much. But anyways, since then, a Bloomberg report has revealed a few more details from Cliffhanger Studios' now canceled Marvel game, including that the project was looking to build upon ideas from Monolith's Shadow of Mordor games, such as its Nemesis system.
Every time someone gifts 5 or more subs, I'm gonna text Sonic my feelings.
Yo, shout out to Chef Negro with the sub. I'm curious on how, cause the system was available to the devs to use.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite resubscriber on the Citadel.
Shout out to J-Star with the sub. I'm gonna guess they probably tried to recreate it. They tried to reverse engineer it. The Nemesis system is patented, but you are allowed to reverse engineer technology. If you create something similar but doesn't have the same solution to getting to solving that problem, it's totally legal. Anyways, Cliffhanger was going to expand on this mechanism with playable heroes such as T'Challa, Killmonger, and Shuri all competing to earn the title of Black Panther. According to the report, players would select one character to play as, with others then becoming rivals they could build a relationship with. Additionally, Cliffhanger's Black Panther game would feature Marvel's fictional race of extraterrestrial shapeshifters, the Skrulls. In the game, the Skrulls will be attempting to invade Wakanda, with some of the alien creatures posing as allies. Meanwhile, other members of the Skrulls might have remembered the player's behavior and acted accordingly, sort of like in Shadow of Mordor, the report. So you would have been able to make choices based off your conversations with Skrulls, and that would have changed the game. The report stated calling it an ambitious system. So yeah, this article is just calling it the Nemesis system, but it sounds like they had their own working prototype. They basically reverse engineered it and they were trying to do their own thing. However, despite its vision, the Black Panther developer had a hard time showcasing the game's procedurally narrative experiments, with those close to the project stating that the processes were slowed down to the team building both a new game and a new studio at the same time. Reportedly, the game begun gaining more momentum prior to its shot cancellation, with many of those laid off only being hired within the last year. However, according to sources, EA executives have been left frustrated by the fact the game had not yet left pre-production after 4 years of development. And if that's true, then I understand why EA canceled it. We already know EA is money hungry and greedy. That's what they want to focus on. And you were developing the game for 4 years and it was still in pre-production. What were you guys doing? Showing up to the studio every day, just hanging out? Like, what the fuck were you guys doing? That's why the game was stuck in pre-production for 5 years. Probably. It was probably stuck in pre-production for 4 years because they were trying to figure out how to do the Nemesis system. And it kind of goes back to what I was talking about in my previous stream, where sometimes I think people go a little too hard on these developers thinking that they're trying to create a stinker. But I think this is a case of, like, this was a junior team trying to create a varsity game, meaning that, like, I don't think the talent behind Cliffhanger Studios was talented enough in game development, experienced enough to create the things and the ideas that they wanted, and they didn't find that out until they tried to actually do it. It sounds like Cliffhanger Studios is probably made of juniors and seniors from fucking Full Sail University, which is unfortunate. EA's downfall is going down hard bad. EA's downfall. EA's up, nigga. What are you talking about? Stock prices and shares, I don't know if you guys know, are primarily driven by sales. EA's downfall is not happening if it does happen, it's not happening anytime soon. EA shares. EA is up 2% at $145 per share. In the last year, they're up 12%. In the last 5 years, they're up almost 30%. You talking about their downfall, nigga? No. The way business works is sales. Yeah, they canceled this game, and you may not like the state of Apex. You said how? Because for those who don't frequent my stream, EA is the holder of 4 of the best-selling games of 2024: Madden, college football, FIFA, and the MVP bundle. The MVP bundle, for those unaware, is Madden and college football sold together at a smaller price as a bundle. They have 4, I repeat, 4 of the best-selling games of 2024. Y'all talking about EA is gonna fall off? No, these Madden niggas are addicted. These FIFA niggas cannot stop messing with Messi. College football fans have never even been to college, but they can't get off the game. And when skate comes off, they gonna ride that bitch till the wheels come off. So, friendly reminder, not financial advice. I'm just speaking in generalities. If you ever want to learn anything about investment, the only thing that matters is if the company is making money or not. You have to learn to remove your feelings from things. And be like, all right, what's their books looking like? Are they making money? It might be something worth investing in. You talking about EA's about to fall off? No, they're not.
Resubscribe to
no,
the
fuck
idea
they're
of
not. Yo, shout out to Skrill's World with the sub.
type of power.
So the only thing I can suggest, if we want more cool original games, we gotta start holding our friends accountable. When you get on your Xbox, when you get on your PlayStation, when you get on your Steam and you see your friends list and you see half your friends list playing Madden, you need to send them a message like, hey bro, I love you, but I wish you'd stop. Put the crack pipe down, please. It's getting... That MVP bundle is $150. It is? How much did it sell? How much did the MVP bundle sell 2024? No available results. $150. Like, let's do the math here. Let's say this is probably on the light side. Let's say it sold 2 million copies, right? We multiply that by 150. You talking about EA fell off? No, nigga. Like, and then you add in the microtransactions, that might be 500 million. Like, right? Like, oh my god, bro. Can you explain what exactly was special about the Nemesis system? Isn't it just when an NPC that remembers what you did, like in Telltale games or open world games like Fallout, Outer Worlds? Sort of. The difference is with Telltale games is it was strictly narrative, so it was more controlled. So when you play like a Telltale game and they remember the decision you make and it affects it in the future, it was all narrative driven. But what made Shadow of Mordor's Nemesis system special is they remembered what you did in a live action moment, and it made the moments more dynamic. So you didn't know what you were gonna get. Like there were little moments where, like, I remember in Shadow of Mordor, I poked out the eyeball of one of the orgs, and he ran away. And he's like, "You son of a bitch, I won't forget this." Like 15 hours later, I'm fighting a boss, and out of nowhere, I hear, "Ranger, you remember me?" And then the camera cuts to an org with a fucking eye patch. This nigga tries to jump you in the middle of the boss fight. So that's what makes it special. It's sort of like the Telltale thing, but it's the fact that it just adds a level of dynamicism that we had never seen in a game before, and it made it for... Sometimes you don't need to do something big and super mind-blowing. Some small little tweaks like that, the systems are very innovative, bro, and fun. AC Shadows is too long. They keep adding things to Kazam. These games is getting... I'm trying to wrap my brain around, are these games too long or are we just too old? That's what I'm trying to find. It's not just... Yeah, and it's not scripted, right? It's literally random. So that's what made it fun. If you've never played Shadow of Mordor or Shadow of War, you could probably get the game for like $5-10 on Steam at this point. Check it out if you ever get a chance. It's really good. If you like Batman Arkham, you'll like it. It's literally Assassin's Creed meets Batman Arkham. I knew nothing about Middle Earth, nothing about Lords of the Rings, but I still enjoyed the game. I was still able to follow the joint. It's definitely worth it. But great games. So yeah, that's your update. Going back to what we was talking about to bring this back full circle. Yeah, EA ain't falling off. They making plenty of money. Same thing with Take-Two Interactive when GTA 6 comes out. It's hard. I think it's hard for people like us to wrap our brains around the idea that EA is not about to collapse, because the only EA game probably any of us have played recently is, in terms of multiplayer, is probably Apex. But you got to remember, there are people out there that, you know, they go to the steel mill, they inhale the steel residue, then for 9 hours, then they come home, they boot up the Call of Duty, they boot up the Madden, and call you the N-word. You got to remember that shit. It is a thing, and there are a lot more people that live their life like that than there are of us. These games, the unfortunate thing is, like, games like this are games that push the culture forward, that push boundaries, but they don't always sell the best. And these companies are driven, unfortunately, by sales these days. It's not the same gaming industry when we were kids in the 90s and early 2000s, where I feel like it was driven more by creativity with a mix of business. Now it's completely driven by business because all these companies are publicly traded. Once you go public, you have a board you have to appease, and the only thing they want to hear is, did we grow? I do feel like the bubble's going to burst at some point, because you can't achieve 20% growth year over year for 20 years straight. It's just not possible. There's only so many gamers in the world. There's only so many gamers interested in your game. And at some point, people are going to get sick of this shit. Is black now. I love a curvy chocolate queen. The day the Madden, the FIFA gamers wake up, the Call of Duty gamers wake up and demand better for themselves, I mean, thanks for the industry Like, you know that picture, like that futuristic picture, like nature will just fucking heal, bro. Nature will heal. Capitalism strikes again, it strikes again. Nature will heal. For those unaware, this week is Summer Games Fest. We no longer have E3, so the biggest gaming news show or press conference of the year, always in the summer, is now Summer Games Fest, hosted by Jeff Keighley, the same person who hosts the Game Awards. And it's later this week. It kicks off on June 5th, I believe. I probably will be streaming the press conferences, doing live reactions, breakdowns, and all that stuff. If you've never watched it before, this is probably the funnest time of the year. It's like the Super Bowl for games, because we get to see what's coming in the future, what you need to plan for, especially PS4 niggas, because we know you're broke.
Holy shit. Someone just resubbed.
Shout out to Trent be chilling. I think I got the schedule here. So Unreal Fest is this week in Florida, and we'll start with an update on the state of Epic Games' proprietary development tools. While aimed at the studios and publishers, the Fortnite maker also confirmed that CD Projekt Red will be showcasing new tech for The Witcher 4, which is being made in Unreal Engine 5. That'll start on June 3rd. That's tomorrow at 9:30. I'm not streaming that shit.
Every bit of this money to invest in Bitcoin.
Fuck no.
Eventually, one of these hoes will be bit by hedgehog fever.
I'm gonna go ahead and
to suck up every bit of my seed. And guess what? I'ma let them.
Shout out to Jiggle Them Balls with the daily bits. I appreciate you, dog. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the fraud watch for myself. I lied. I said I was gonna stream this. I'm not streaming this shit. This is at 9:30 a.m. I don't care about this one enough. I'm on the West Coast, so for me that's 6:30. Fuck that. When I boot up the stream, we'll talk about what they announced. This one will be pretty boring because the state of Unreal is more for like game developers. But if you're interested in game development, this would probably be the interesting one for you, because the Unreal Engine is free. They're going to show off the latest tech that they have for game developers, and you might get like a preview at some new games and stuff like that, but this one's more nerdy. Then see the Mixed Summer Games Showcase on the 3rd. Is this the trailer for this? Let's see, continue reading. Formerly known as the Guerrilla Collective, the Mixed Summer Showcase will be an event dedicated to debuting new and upcoming indie games. They are usually fun and full of smaller but neat looking projects you might not over. So this is the indie one. This one will be at 12. I'm not streaming this one too. I lied about that. Because that shit is at 9 in the morning for me. I'm not getting up for that, nigga. I'll be just waking up. Let's look at the trailer though, but I'll go over whatever they announce. I'm not gonna lie, they probably won't see nothing too crazy. Yeah, a bunch of Doom clones, not gonna lie. Oh, they don't have a trailer, it's just for the thing. I think I'm just gonna watch. Yeah, that's the main thing I'd be excited for, the main showcase. What up, Tim? And then Summer Games Fest Live, June 6th. I think this is the main one. Game Awards host Jeff Keighley will be backstage in LA this week to host his 5th Summer Games Fest. It's been 5 years, god damn. 5 years since the collapse of E3. At some point, we're going to be telling our kids about that. The event is usually several hours long, featuring updates and world premieres on dozens of games and a celebrity cameo or two. Last year's show included Star Wars Outlaws, Black Myth Wukong, blah, 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 blah. We get it. This one starts June 6th at 5 p.m. EST, which would be 3 for me. That's actually great because it'll be 7 hours. So we'll probably stream the whole thing of that. I'm going to put that in my phone so I don't forget. See, June 6th. That one I will live stream. That is Friday. All right, let's see. Bro, don't hit me. Summer Games Fest, 3 p.m. Why you hit me, bro? That's not nice. Here we go. Wednesday, no, Friday. Save. Boom. Damn, 5 years already. 2 p.m. for me. Wait. Oh yeah, you're right too. You're right too. My fault too. You're right. I'm tired. Let me fix that so I know. That's still cool. That's a cool time. And then Days of Devs Summer Games Fest Edition. This will be on June 6th. Day of Devs is my favorite twice annual gaming showcase featuring a wonderfully curated selection of eclectic games hyped directly by their creators. They're always at least one super cool looking, some more indie games basically. Probably sit down with some of the indie devs and so they can talk about their games. That's at 7 p.m. Maybe I'll stream that because that's like right after this one. And the Outer Worlds 2 showcase is Sunday too, right? I don't know. Let me scroll down. IO Interactive's James Bond showcase on the 6th. That starts at 9 p.m. Oh, this is going to be a long stream. God damn. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, we're gonna have to hit the gamer subs on Friday, chat. Hot on the heels of Day of the Devs is IO Interactive Showcase featuring updates on Hitman, Mind's Eye, and our first big look at the studio's take on the James Bond's franchise with 007 First Light, Mind's Eye, a techno thriller third-person shooter, okay, from ex-Grand Theft Auto producer Leslie. Oh wait, they're talking about Mind's Eye, never mind. Boo. We don't care about that shit. We only care about fucking this 007 game. I want to see what this is about. So that one will be at 6. I'll probably turn it off when they put on Mind's Eye. That'll put me to sleep. And then the Wholesome Direct is on Saturday, June 7th. A barrage of colorful, vibrant, and adorable cozy games. I'm not streaming that shit, chat. That shit's for nerds. Y'all can watch that on your own time. It seems like Friday's the only one worth streaming. Me waiting for Gears of War E-Day news. Yeah, where the Xbox Showcase at? Future Games Showcase, Summer Games Show, June 7th. The Future Games Showcase is sort of like the intermission of the annual Summer Games Fest celebration, with everyone still hungover from Summer Games Fest live the day before. A bunch of interesting announcements for games you've never heard of sneak out in the afternoon or on Saturday just for you to discover. Trailers a week ago later. Wait, what did I miss? Oh, okay, there is an Xbox Showcase. So June 8th on Sunday. Am I right about that? So we're gonna stream that one. Let me write that one down. Got to do the Sunday. We got work this weekend, chat. We got work this weekend. Let's see, Xbox Showcase. That's at what time? Microsoft will be hosting its big summer event during the traditional Sunday slot. It's held back during the height of E3. Since then, the tech giant has gobbled up half the video game industry and started taking its first-party releases multi-platform. Its 2025 Xbox Showcase will likely contain updates on things like the next Fable, Gears of War. We gotta see some Gears of War E-Day gameplay, and Call of Duty, with a second mini showcase dedicated entirely to the Outer Worlds 2. Set to take place afterwards. While the company is rumored to have backed off making a dedicated gaming handheld, an Xbox branded version of the next Asus ROG Ally will probably get unveiled during the event this weekend. This is 1 p.m. on so 10 o'clock for me, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. on a Sunday, 10 a.m. on a Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, boom. Save that one in the schedule. Need that Fable gameplay. Yeah, it's overdue. They need to show some shit. We got to see Halo. Halo? What are you talking about, bro? Ain't no Halo coming, bro. That Halo that they showed, the Unreal Engine 5, that ain't coming anytime soon. Okay. And then the PC Game Show, also on Sunday. The PC Game Show, hosted by Day 9 Plot, returns with the perfect live stream to find out what's coming next in the world of PC. This shit will probably be ass. The PC Gaming Show is always ass. I ain't streaming this shit unless I want to take a nap. While there are plenty of showcase for small indie games from the big console blockbusters, the PC Gaming Showcase always does a great job of highlighting the wonderful, varied middle ground of PC-centric releases. I don't know if I'm gonna stream that one. Why do you keep hitting me, dude? You need a hug? You need a kiss? You want to talk to the people? You want to lick your lips on the mic? Yeah. Why you being light skinned? Talk to the people, Piccolo. Stop licking your lips, bro. Quit being light skinned. Let's see. We wouldn't have to wait so long for new games if the industry wasn't so obsessed with giving every game photorealistic graphics. I don't know if that's the problem. I think the bigger issue is everybody still has this idea they need to release their games in the fall. But I mean, when you have a game like Split Fiction that just recently came out, I don't think everybody's worried about hyper realistic graphics. And is there anything else? Is there a June Nintendo Direct? Nintendo has traditionally held some sort of event in June to tease its summer games and fall lineup, but you might have heard that it's currently in the middle of launching the Switch 2. Yeah, for those unaware, the Switch 2 comes out on the 5th. I seen a tweet earlier, and they were talking about, like, this feels like the most anticlimactic launch for a video game system ever. And I'm not gonna lie, I literally talked to my girl about this morning. I was like, does it feel like a new console's coming out? She was like, no. I was like, I kind of agree. I don't know what it is. Like, outside of the people who like pre-ordered it, it didn't seem like anybody's really that excited for it. And I think it's because, like, Mario Kart's cool, but like, I don't really want to play it that bad. That's why I wasn't tripping out that shit. Like, y'all gotta come with some better games. Where is Sony's big summer showcase? Because of the game pricing, that too. Yeah, I just like, I feel like when new consoles drop, there's like this energy in the air, like, holy shit. I feel bad for some of y'all that didn't get to experience the era of when the PS3 and the Xbox 360 came out. Motherfuckers was camping and shit like that. I mean, even with the PS4, actually. That's probably why y'all still camped out with that shit now. Sony's also MIA at the moment. Well, if they ain't got nothing going on, who cares? $80 games a potential brick in my purchase. Nah, I'm good, fam. I feel that. Vote with your wallet. So yeah, that's the lineup. That's what's coming this week. It should be a big week for announcements. I'm excited to see this James Bond game. It's been a while since we had a James Bond game. I hope we get some new original IPs, some stuff we've never seen before. On the indie side, I want to see some cool, different games. I don't want to see from the indie showcase a million Doom clones, a million farming simulators, because that's another genre that's just been beaten to death by indie games. Farming games with cute, colorful art that look like Terraria. We get it, bro.
Follower.
The game with the girls with the fox in the forest trying to find the meaning of life. We get it, bro. Come on, make something different. Trying to show that Backslogs in love. No more RT walking simulators. I'm saying, well, we already saw this. They're gonna show off James Bond, so no reason to. Is this James Bond they're gonna put in the game? Is this gonna be the new one for the movies, or is this just something separate? Is this like an announcement for the movies as well? That's what I want to know. What was my first car? And you got a dream car? My first car was a Honda, and my dream car, I don't have one. I don't really care about cars. Cars are just something to get me from point A to B. Matter of fact, I was literally talking to my girl about this recently. The only reason I haven't traded in my Tesla is I don't know what I want. I don't give a fuck about cars. She was like, you should get a Lexus. She's like, I can see you in a Lexus. I was like, I don't know shit about Lexuses. I take that back. I do want a car, but the cars I do want, America blocks them from coming over. I want one of them BYDs, bro. We can't get them over here. They can get them in Europe, but we can't get them over here. I gotta look at Lexus or something like that. But yeah, I don't really. To me, cars are just to get from point A to B. It's never really been my thing. Remember GoldenEye on the GameCube? Yeah, I used to play a lot of the fucking 007 games back in the day. Lexus is one of the best brands to buy because they hold value. Like I don't have like a picture. This is how like out of the loop I am about cars. I don't have a picture in my head when I hear the word Lexus. Like that's how like I don't even know what that shit looked like. I was gonna do my research. My motorcycle is Chinese. So many features for the fraction of the cost. Must be nice. Get the upcoming Rivian truck. I wanted a Rivian until I saw some reviews, and like they were saying that like the new Rivian SUV, the iPad in the car is like it's very slow and not responsive. And I'm like, I got a 2018 Tesla and my screen is more responsive than that new Rivian. Like I'm not gonna buy a futuristic tech car where the tech doesn't work. That kind of like defeats the purpose. So like I don't trust Rivian right now. I'm rooting for them because it's American, but like it's not where it needs to be. I could get I know because I got a friend that works for Toyota. I could get one of the Toyota sports cars. I forgot what it was called. It was one that I really liked, but like I'm not like super gung-ho about it. The Supra, it might have been that. Let me see. Toyota Supra. Yeah, I think it was this. Yeah. I know somebody who's high on the food chain at Toyota. I can get a discount for one of these if I really want to. Are these nice cars? Are they nice? But then it's like, I don't know if I want a sports car. I never saw myself in a sports car. I'm not gonna lie, I like having an SUV because like I've always wanted a truck too. Like I like being able to move my stuff around. You said no Hellcat? It's enough black people in Hellcats chat. Come on, man. Oh yeah, they nice. Would you drive a Slingshot? I don't even know what that is, dog. What brand is that? I think it's enough black people in Hellcats chat. Like moth to a flame. Get a Lexus. I'm gonna look into them eventually. Lexus is the luxury brand of Toyota. I did not know that. So Toyota owns them. I did not know that. I think I kind of wanted. That's why I wanted the Rivian. I think I kind of want to stick with an SUV.
Why do people resubscribe
I want a
to
car
the idea
that
of Shadow having a BBC?
Sports cars never spoke to me like
power.
that. And also, I want a car that I can grow into. I like to be able to move stuff, be able to put a bunch of stuff in the trunk, and you know, I might need space one day. You know, like. I might need space one day, so like I don't want to buy a small ass car and then regret it later. Acura is the luxury version of Honda too. Ah, okay. Yo, I'm 6'3". I got a pickup truck, bro. I need the room, especially. I do want a truck. That would be like a second vehicle for me.
Before Selena sees this month's bank statements.
I wanted one of those Ford Lightnings until the reviews came out. They said that shit is ass. I was like, yeah, I'll stay away from that shit. Get back to this game and stuff. Not this nerd shit. Nerd stuff. One day I will look into Lexus. Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake is such a badly kept secret. It's been leaked by a statue maker who just assumed we all knew it was coming. In the days of yore, before we all had this internet nonsense, leaks happened organically, concretely. They happened in printed books and in frantic conversations in the cloisters. In the time of the Roman Republic, unannounced video games were leaked by loose-lipped sculptors in ungraded moments out of the gourds on Hippocrates. A more civilized age, bro, what are you talking about? And one we've recaptured thanks to the good folks at Pure Arts, a merch maker that deals in a line of Swish Assassin's Creed statues featuring the likes of Ezio, Altair, Cassandra, Bayek, and all other hooded murderers you know, love from Ubisoft's long-running Pope fighting sim. What are you talking about, bro? Did they leak it right here? Something big is definitely happening regarding the Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake. The people at Pure Arts unveiled a new collection of figures, but the Edward one was missing. When asked, they said, let's see. Yeah, who wrote this? Like, nigga, did you just graduate or something? You don't have to use all those words. Like,
I did notice some people asking about why there's no Edward. There's reasons.
I keep replying saying there's more coming. It's a line.
Like, yeah, I mean, how many you want us to release?
That was definitely a very facetious answer. He's like, why don't we have an Edward Kenway statue? He said, I don't know, wink, wink, wink. They just probably can't talk about it now, but that was very... That was read between the lines. They were saying something.
Would you like us to release like 14 at the same time? That would kill me.
Well,
yeah, okay.
Assassin's Creed fans out there, you should be aware that there is something going on with Edward. So obviously we can't.
Has that been announced?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I saw rumors about it.
Okay.
No, I definitely saw an article about this.
Okay.
So I mean, if you're not a true Assassin's Creed fan, you know, it's not my fault.
If you don't,
what does that have to do with anything? They're yapping. It's probably coming. If you care about it, some games aren't meant to be remade. A lot of people love this game, so I think this would print money for Ubisoft. People are nostalgic for things. People are getting to that age. There's a lot of people out there that are at that age where they're starting to get nostalgic for things that they were in high school for. Because a lot of things that happened like 10 years ago, and a lot of people's brain is still fresh in their head, and then you tell them it was 10 years ago, and it's like, wait a minute, am I old? They'll be like, yeah, you are. Yeah, see, people in the chat saying I love that game. Bunch of word salad. Somebody in the chat confirmed this, so I'm glad I actually saved this article. News reports are coming out that several major retailers are canceling Switch 2 pre-orders last minute due to not having enough supply. Customers affected may have to wait a month or more for the Switch 2 restocks. And this is why I said last week, because reports were coming out that stores were going to have a very limited amount of Switch consoles. So if you show up, you might be able to get one. And I said, show up at your own risk. I just read that article and it was a bunch of maybes. And now I'm thinking there's not going to be much of any day one purchases. It's only going to go to pre-orders because the pre-orders are getting canceled. Someone in the chat said that they was affected. You said you ready for The Last of Us 1+2 remake remaster? Yo, shut up, bro. So, you know, unfortunate if your pre-order got canceled or whatever, but I mean, I promise you're not missing out on much. Niggas is going to be on fucking Mario Kart for about 3 days and then get off that shit. Once they realize, they're like, oh, wait a minute, I played this game. I'm bringing my tool with me in case Crazy's act crazy. Tool? I don't think anybody's trying to go and get into a shootout over a Nintendo Switch. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think you'll be all right, dog. I think you'll be all right. Because it's a Nintendo event, instead of bringing your tool with you, instead of your tool being like a pistol, your tool should be the Luigi vacuum. Just in case some violence break out, you can suck them up like Luigi's Mansion 3. Imagine getting shot over a Switch. Yeah, I think you'll be safe. Smite 2 developer Hi-Res Studios lets go of their president and other executives. Smite 2 developer Hi-Res Studio has been hit by more layoffs. This time, however, rather than developers being let go, it was the executive leadership. About time. This is how it usually should go. Instead of instead of firing the developers, fire the people that made the developers make the fucking game. First revealed on social media by a former Hi-Res employee, the studio has let go of their president Stuart Chisholm, executive producer Travis Brown, and another senior staff member known as Radar. The news was then confirmed on Reddit by Alex Canator, who said that he is now leading the development team at a subsidiary Titan Forge. Unfortunately, there were a handful of layoffs in senior management positions only last Thursday. Stu is transitioning away from Hi-Res as part of this, and Travis and Radar were also affected, as well as a few other folks, but blah, 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 blah. None of this is a surprise. When they announced Smite 2, I said this game was DLA from the jump. People tried to tell me I didn't know what I was talking about. You not excited for this game? I said, nigga, no.
Subscribe to beating Robin's ass.
I played Smite. I really like Smite. I had like 500 plus hours on Smite 1, but I played Smite back in 2012. I played Smite when it was in beta. I played it from 2012 to like 2014. That was one of the earliest games that I streamed. Played the hell out of it. It just ran its course for me. That's why I stopped playing it. But when they announced Smite 2, the reason I dismissed it is because it just wasn't different enough from the first game. Also, you have to keep in mind the world has changed. Like, niggas is not outside of League of Legends. There's not room really for a new MOBA. MOBAs were a trend. And back then, everybody was able to make a MOBA, but then it got eaten by the new trend, which was BRs. And then now they're trying to make extraction shooters. But the industry is constantly shifting with different trends. And I feel like it was too late to make Smite 2. And then what they did make, it wasn't innovative enough. It was just an up-res version of the first game. And I was like, this game is going to Floposaurus Rex. And then another reason why their studio presidents are getting fired is because not only is Smite 2 a flop, you got to keep in mind, what's the third-person shooter? That shit was a flop. It was popular for like 3 months, but they fucked up with a couple updates. What was that game called? I can't even remember the name of that shit. Third person shooter, high res, not Paladins. Rogue Company. Rogue Company was supposed to be that game. I don't know how Rogue Company failed. It came out in 2020 when we was all locked in the house. Paladins wasn't able to go mainstream. It had its like core audience, but it wasn't able to go mainstream because of Overwatch. People kept comparing it to Overwatch, but I think Rogue Company should have been much bigger than what it was. Realm Royale was a fail. Divine Knockout was a Super Saiyan fail. I played that game. Most of y'all probably don't even remember DKO. That was one of those games where I'm like, why did you guys spend development time and money on this game? Like, make an original game. I don't even know what the fuck Global Agenda is. I liked Rogue Company. I liked it too. Just didn't put out enough content fast enough. I feel like that's the problem with these live service games. And that's why I think single player games is really where it's at. A good single player game, when people hear about it, word of mouth, even if they don't buy it right away, you can add it to the Steam wishlist and buy it eventually. I feel like a solid single player game will always sell. I'm pretty sure someone is about to go play Shadow of Mordor because I just talked about it earlier and what made the Nemesis system great. But these multiplayer games are a trend. People are only gonna play, and I'm not talking about the hardcore audience, but I'm talking about the casuals. They're only gonna play it as long as it's trendy. We're seeing it right now with Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals is not trendy anymore. So now what you have is the hardcore audience bitching and complaining that they're currently in a flying meta and a poking meta because y'all nerfed the dive characters to the ground. So that's why I'm always going to advocate against live service games, because live service games are great for making money here and there, but there's going to come a point where that shit fails. But I feel like good single player, not bad, but good single player games are always going to be a slow burn that make money. Batman sales went crazy when Kai played it. Probably Elden Ring too. When Kai played Elden Ring, that shit went stupid. It's just nothing like getting lost in a world. Like, I feel bad for people who don't have an imagination and don't want to get lost in a different world. Shit is crazy, bruh. I reached plat and stopped playing it. Real shit. He said, Marvel Rivals is trendy to me. That shit is not trendy anymore. It has its core audience. But they're definitely on the clock. I think they're definitely on the clock. Hit the like button. The past 2 games of the year were both single player. Matter of fact, it's actually very rare that a multiplayer game is game of the year. So just some food for thought. You even ate that game was 1 or 2 patches away from being hated. Pretty much. What up, Coochie Mane? Coochie Mane. Yeah, the problem with live service games is they're always 1 or 2 patches away from being a failure. All it takes is, and then there's so much competition. New games are releasing all the time. If you drop a patch that people hate, I'm gonna go play something else. I don't have to sit around. We are not in 2005 anymore. I do not have to sit around and wait and hope that the game gets better. Like, I just go play something else. Like, matter of fact, I got a Steam backlog of like 4,000 games and about 3,900 of them bitches I ain't touched because Steam sales be fucking my wallet up. My friend just asked me to download Road Company. Are the servers still up? You're gonna be waiting 10 hours to find one game. Madden NFL cover star has been revealed. The Madden curse continues. It's Saquon Barkley. What's that doing for anybody? Is that doing anything for anybody? 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 Is this doing it? I don't really care. From what I'm seeing across different markets, including gaming, I don't think the majority of companies haven't caught up to the player base's new attention span and how fast you need to move and to hold attention. Pretty much. Pretty much. And it's unfortunate. I don't have any input on that. New Gen V season 2 trailer dropping September 17th. Season 1 was fire. If you haven't watched it, it's a spinoff of The Boys. Let's check it out. I saved it for the stream. Matter of fact, let's go to the YouTube version, get the high quality one. Gen V season 2 trailer. They're probably gonna write him out the show. They're probably gonna kill him in the show, which, I mean, it makes sense. Give him like an honorable death in the show or something. Because what other reason is he crying? He's lying. It's his problem, not mine. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Shit. Oh, I already know this. We already know X Defiance officially shut down. I don't care. This game fucking sucks, nigga. This is a perfect example of what I was just talking about earlier. People's attention span shift really quickly. This game came out. It was full of hackers. One of the worst battle passes I've ever seen. You made a shooting game where the hit registration doesn't work. You made a video game that's literally about tagging enemies, and you couldn't tag the enemies half the fucking time. And then people are surprised that it failed. I set up on the stream and said it was gonna fail, and niggas was like, "No, you're just a Call of Duty fanboy. This the game of the century because no skill-based matchmaking. No skill-based matchmaking doesn't change the fact that it's full of hackers. Shut the fuck up." This game deserved to die. It deserved its failure. What up, Flock? Yeah, no skill-based matchmaking is not a pitch sale for the average. Imagine being the average person who walks into a GameStop and you'd be like, "I'm looking for a new shooting game. You have any recommendations?" "Yeah, there's this game called X Defiant. There's no skill-based matchmaking." The average man, woman, or child is gonna be like, "What the fuck are you talking about, you fucking dweeb? What are you talking about?" Okay, skill-based match. Once again, the only people who care about skill-based matchmaking are people who are not good enough to be pros. Gamers, those streamers that are better than the average player, they're probably better than their audience, but they're not good enough to play on the pro circuit. Those are the only people that care about skill-based matchmaking. And the reason being is because then they can't pub stop in front of their audience and flex their e-penis. Who cares, bro? You niggas is fucking dweebs. I've never complained about it. You know what happens when I get my scout pushed back in a few matches of Call of Duty? I get off the game. And I take a break, bro. One of my boys, friends, was a huge advocate for X Defiant and said it was better than COD, but he only plays free games. You said that nigga broke. X Defiant was helmed by the guy who made the worst COD. I don't know why people were excited. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, another one. We'll see you next year. Another flop, I'm pretty sure. Is that all the articles I got? I think